Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Sorry I had to pretty much start early, about an hour earlier than expected, but some things have come up, and so they require my attention. And rather than just rescheduling the entire live stream for another day, I figured I would go on with it. But before we get started, shout out to the channel sponsor Helium Mobile, and there's a QR code right below my avatar, and that basically is just for you guys to get signed up. Uh, Once you are on the sign up page, use my promo code that's in the description. That will get you guys your first month for free to try them out. So again, shout out to Helium Mobile, the channel sponsor of today and the sponsor of this live stream. So, getting into the live stream, basically, I'm going to be covering Pebble, Pebble OS, and Pebble smartwatch on the rise of a comeback. And this is a pretty interesting story. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Mobile X turning on auto top up for those people who are on the personalized access plan and how all that works. And a little bit more discussion on Helium Plus as far as it being beneficial to Helium Mobile service customers and, providing data offloading at events, places of business, things like that. If you guys didn't catch the video from yesterday, then we'll examine it further. And eventually, at some point, myself, maybe, Alter Tech and B Tech can actually get on a live stream at the same time and talk more about Helium Plus and Helium Mobile as a service. But without further ado, we're going to just kind of get into it. So, yeah, welcome. Glad to have you guys here. Smash the like button because that does help out the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a live stream and when I upload a video, and as well as copy one of these awesome shirts, repping for Team Nexus, Team Pixel, and yeah, you guys can grab the shirts, check out the merch store, and you guys can get hooked up. The QR code will remain up there for Helium Mobile throughout the rest of the podcast, but let's kind of just get into it. So I have used Pebble smartwatches in the past, and I've found them to actually be, refreshing to use, which is probably the reason why that I've really just kind of gravitated towards things like, the CMF Watch Pro, and maybe a couple of other, Bluetooth smartwatches like the IDW19, which I recently did a video on. And it's because they in some form of way kind of remind me of Pebble. Pebble being, the first technical smartwatch that had broke into the tech industry, man, several years back. It's been a while since we've even talked about Pebble. And, very interesting that, Pebble is back. Now, to kind of just break this down, how is it that Pebble is back? How is Pebble able to do all this? This stems off from Google. So we have to give a shout out to the big G company for doing this. So if you guys didn't know, Pebble was, one of the brands that pretty much, used the whole Kickstart program to kind of, build up funds in order to create this. And so they started a campaign on Kickstart. They accumulated a lot of money. I mean, a lot of people were like, they read, their description of what they were trying to build, and people were very sold on the smartwatch, an extension of your smartphone that lives on your wrist, that brings you notifications. And so a lot of people were, really sold on this idea. So a lot of people invested, and those people who invested were the first ones to receive, the smartwatch. They were the first ones to receive it. They got it. They had a little bit of extra goodies with it, but nonetheless, they were able to get the very first Pebble smartwatch, which I have one. Actually, I don't even know where my Pebbles are. I know I still have them. They're somewhere. I got to find them. I wanted to show them in the live stream today, but, tearing up my room trying to look for them, and I wasn't able to find any of them. I know I still have them. They are still here in my possession. I have the original Pebble watch. Mine's is the red and black version. I have a Pebble Time, And then I have a Pebble Watch 2. So I have 3 of them. They're around here somewhere. When I grab them, I will probably make like an update video just showing you guys them. As of right now, I am unable to connect them to any of the smartphones that I use, and I'll get into the reasons in a little bit. But you know, after they went ahead and amassed all this money, literally just to build this smartwatch, and a lot of people were very sold on the whole essence of having a smartwatch. Later on after that, they came back with the Pebble Time. And the Pebble Time, it's a nice looking watch. Like I said, I still have mine somewhere around here. And the differences between the original Pebble and the Pebble Time was the Pebble Time really brought in the e-color, the e-ink color display. The original Pebble watch was just a e-ink paper display, basically black and gray. And that's what you got. With the Pebble Time, they brought in some color. The colors weren't like super vibrant or anything like that, but you could still, it was distinguishable. You could see that there was color on the display. The one thing about Pebble watches is that they weren't touch display at all whatsoever. So you didn't interact with the screen with touching the screen. Everything was done by buttons. There was 3 buttons on the Pebble watch, a select button, an up button, and a down button. And that's how you would navigate through everything that was on the Pebble watch. The Pebble 2 began to introduce fitness, and I think a lot of people say the same thing, and we're pretty much right on the money. I think the thing that made Pebble fall out with its fan base was when they tried to take it to like a fitness tracker type thing. Pebble was not really that, and people that bought Pebbles, they didn't buy them for the fitness tracking or any of that. They bought them for what they originally were, which was a satellite extension of your smartphone and being able to give you your notifications on the watch, being able, to get your app notifications, control your music from your watch. And you didn't even have to look at your watch to navigate your music, right? You had an up button, you had a down button, you had a select button on the right side of the watch. So literally you could just like squeeze up to go track forward, down to go track back, and the center, the middle button as your select enter button. And that was pretty much it. So it was very easy to navigate. Pebble really had a lot going for it. And when Fitbit acquired Pebble, a lot of Pebble users were disheartened. A lot of them were pretty much sad. Which led basically to the birth of Rebel. And if you guys don't know, Rebel is just a team collectively of enthusiasts who really wanted to continue on the Pebble watch. So as you can see here, this is rebel.io. This is their homepage, and they're just recently, giving a synopsis of why they continue to maintain the Pebble watch, right? So just a little feed here on what they do. They said on December 7th, 2016, Pebble announced that they were ceasing operations. 2 days later, on December 9th, 2016, the Rebel website went live, announcing our intentions to maintain and advance Pebble functionality in the absence of Pebble Technology Core. We have fulfilled much of this goal via Rebel Web Services, which restores most of the functionality that the Pebble community knows and loves. Read about our journey in the blog, find detailed instructions in our setup guide. They can compete with Garmin. I think they can compete with a lot more, but we're getting into as to how all this came to be, that Pebble is coming back. So anyways, this is Rebel. Again, a group of people who were such Pebble enthusiasts that they didn't want to let the Pebble watch completely just, become obsolete. So for several years now, they've been maintaining Pebble watches, okay? And I know their work is actually pretty good. They were given access to some of the servers that Pebble originally had that Fitbit acquired. And they were allowed to, I think, maintain those servers for a year while building their own servers to then move all Rebel accounts from the original Pebble service over onto Rebel IO. And they did that, and they did a pretty dang good job of doing that. Pebble watches continue to work and function way after. I think I stopped officially using my Pebble watch about 2.5 years ago. It was back in 2022. It was the last time I really wore my Pebble Time and actually used it. Since then, it's just been, you know, topped up on the charger to maintain the battery and just sitting powered off. You know, it's a sad case, but little by little, you weren't able to really use the Pebble watch. Like any of my devices that I have right now, my OnePlus 9, my Nothing Phone 1, my Pixel 8a, Moto G Stylus 2024, any of these devices cannot install the current version of Pebble. The way that you would actually do it is that you would install the Pebble watch app onto your device. Then you would go on your Chrome browser on your phone and go into Rebel IO. You would sign in to your Pebble account. If you use your Google account as your sign-in option, then that's what you would use. And once you got signed in, you would be greeted with the, switch to Rebel now. And when you tap that, it would connect by Bluetooth to your Pebble watch, and it would install the new modified version of Pebble OS to Rebel OS. And then your watch would continue its functions. You would still get your calendar notifications. You would still get your text notifications. You would still get your app notifications. Any other, Pebble app, right? Like the Twitter app, the Facebook app, those things still worked and functioned. You can install them on your Pebble watch, as well as, what was it called? It was like, the watch faces. They still maintained the various different watch faces in the Pebble store. So there was still a lot of customizations that could have been done with it. And then we didn't hear nothing from Pebble for a while. And then Google acquires Fitbit. And when Google acquired Fitbit, I think I made mention of it in a past live stream where I was like, Fitbit's part of Google. The Pixel Watch was going to be, compatible with the Fitbit app. And I was thinking to myself, how funny would it be if Google decided to resurrect Pebble? But then I was thinking like, well, you know what? They sold Motorola. So then I didn't really think that Google was going to do anything with Pebble. What up, Phone Tech at work? I still have 3 of my Pebble watches too. I have the original, the Time, and the Pebble Watch too. So I don't know if you have the exact same ones, but I have, those are the 3 I still have. But nonetheless, Google shocked everybody. I think it was one of the founders of Pebble reached out to Google and wanted to see if they were willing to open source Pebble OS. Going out on a whim, right? I mean, like, what's the worst that could happen? Well, the worst that could happen is that Google says no, but they didn't. They opened up that sucker, and now Pebble OS is open source software that you can grab in GitHub, which means that there's a lot of developers that can get a hold of the source codes for Pebble and just start building. Now, what would they build is the question, right? I think this falls in line with custom ROMs for Android devices. I feel like that there's going to be a lot of those that are part of the, the hackathon scene, and they're going to go and develop and create their own watch OS versions of Pebble that could be installed on Pebble watches. And of course, a lot of things are going to have to be released in order for us to be able to do this. I feel like that's some sort of, software system that you would have to download on your PC in order to move this operating system on over to the Pebble watch. I'm a firm believer that it's a better connectivity if you have a wired connection to the watch rather than Bluetooth. Sometimes I feel like that, there could be packet loss in transferring files wirelessly, and that could cause issues if you're trying to install a aftermarket operating system for your Pebble watch. But, of course, that would be kind of hard because, the very first Pebble watch had one of the most craziest connection designs I've seen on a smartwatch. It was on the right side of the watch, just below the bottom button. and you would have to like try to perfectly fit that charger to the right side of the watch, and then you would have to like gently place it on your table, because if you move it a certain way and it disrupts the magnetic connection, then your watch is not charging at all. So can you imagine trying to do like a file transfer of an operating system for that watch with that, you know, that quirky connection? What up, Sneed? That quirky connection would just be like, you know, just be weird as hell. But nonetheless, that's the revival of Pebble. So now that the Pebble OS source code is open and you can download it from GitHub, now you can literally take those source code files and you can build your own operating system for your Pebble watch. But does this mean that we could actually see a newer Pebble smartwatch come down the road in the future? And my guesstimation is that yes, I feel like there's a possibility that if a lot of people who were big fans of Pebble smartwatches were to jump back on the bandwagon, it would just pretty much be clear as day that this is a product that can be fully revived with brand new hardware and something that Google can get behind. But the thing that I don't want to see if they do revive Pebble hardware is, one, I don't want to see it become another vessel for Wear OS. Like, I think the Pixel Watch has that on lock. Keep Wear OS on the Pixel Watch and third-party Android smartwatches. Like, we'll leave that there, okay? I would want to see Pebble maintain what it did before with a much broader aspect of things. Do you have any pics of what they might look like? No. Like I said, they didn't say they were going to build new hardware, so there's no leaked new hardware. What this is all about is that Google has released the source code files for Pebble OS at the request of one of the founders of Pebble. So we're kind of taking a step in the right direction and we're not rushing things, which I think is a good thing. If a lot of people don't care or they look at Pebble as this nostalgic thing, but they have no desire to want a new Pebble watch, then we may never see a brand new Pebble watch. And all we would get is just, you know, various different developers who would develop a custom Pebble OS for, you know, the older Pebble watches, like the Pebble Time, the Pebble Time Steel, the original Pebble Watch, the Pebble Watch 2, the Pebble Watch 2 SE. Like, we would start seeing operating systems for those watches that you can install on them. Because right now, you could try it if you want. But if you try to install the Pebble APK, because it's no longer housed in the Play Store or in the Apple App Store, so you would have to sideload the Pebble Watch app onto your phone. But most phones that are like Android 14 and up are going to tell you it's incompatible with the operating system. It has definitely become obsolete. So getting that, you know, onto your phone is going to be a pain in the butt. You would have to rock something, maybe like I could probably put it on my Pixel 4 XL and rock it on there because that has Android 13. I think you can put it on Android 13 if I'm not mistaken. You should be able to, because I believe I had my Pebble Watch Time connected to my Pixel 6. And that was during the time when it was running Android 13 or Android 12, one of the two. I'll have to really play around with it. So just be on the lookout. Maybe in the next week or two, I might do like, you know, a day in the life with the Pebble Watch Time video, and then kind of just show you guys how I got it and what phone I am using it on. But I know for a fact I cannot get it on my OnePlus 9, my Nothing Phone 1, the Moto G Stylus 2024, my Pixel 8a, my Pixel 7a, my Pixel 6a. Currently, it's not allowing me to install that app, even sideloading it. It just literally tells me that it is not compatible with my software. And I would generally really love to see a new Pebble watch, but this is my my whole take on the thing. Okay. My whole take on, let me see here really quickly. All right, so my take on the new Pebble watch, what I would do, I would not make it touchscreen. So for people that's like, make it touchscreen and everything like that, no, what's the point? We got, you know, hundreds of different smartwatches that are touchscreen. I want to stick to the nostalgic feeling of a real Pebble watch. So no touchscreen, no capacitive touch display at all on these watches. Everything navigated. I would say let's do 2 physical buttons, right? An up and down button, but change that center button to a dial crown. That is also a button. Allows you to scroll a lot easier when you can twist that crown to move up and down on a list and then push in to select. So let's do that. Let's do a larger display. So like the body of the Pebble Time, let's do that size, but the thick bezels that the Pebble Time had, let's eliminate those and bring the bezels much smaller with a much bigger display. So almost similar to, let's see, this is the IDW19 smartwatch, maybe to this size display of a Pebble watch and like this size of a body. Put in the speakers, right? Like this watch has, we'll put in speakers and a microphone so it can take calls, which is one of the things that the Pebble watches did not do. They did not take calls, at least the ones that I had, the Pebble Time, the Pebble 2, the Pebble 1. You couldn't do phone calls from them. The Pebble Time allowed you to use some sort of voice assistance because it did have a microphone, but it didn't have a speaker to play audio. So it was a one-directional thing where you could talk to it and it, you know, literally execute commands. But this was during the time of like Google Now, right? This is before Google Assistant. But yeah, the quirkiness of like the Pebble 2 where it had that nice teal, green, and white color. So let's do some really quirky colorways just to kind of freshen it up and make it vibrant. Lightweight material. Let's not, like, we don't want to get a smartwatch that's, you know, so much premium material built into it that it becomes heavy, that if you fall off a boat, you're going to sink right to the bottom of the ocean. We don't need that. Let's make it light in every way. Bring back, of course, you know, the water resistance. So let's make it at least IP68 water and dust resistant. At least give it, you know, get that water rating for it. And, you know, let's try to maintain, you know, the 7 to 10 day battery life. I mean, the Pebble Time was a good watch, but I only really got like 3.5 to 4 days of battery life on it, you know, with that e-ink color display versus the regular e-ink display. My original Pebble watch and my Pebble Watch 2, those could actually execute 8.5 days of battery life. So I kind of want, you know, the build design, bigger display on the Pebble Time, but I want the battery extended longer. So let's do a much longer battery. Let's not get out of hand and crazy like they did with, you know, what was it? I think it was like a Pebble music player. So it was just like a little like square box. And it really didn't serve too much of a purpose. But yeah, let's kind of bring that. At least that's what I would say. All right, so it says Google open sources Tintin, Pebble, Fitbit, Rebel, and Google all working together right now. This is so cool. This is so cool. So this article was written on the 27th, so 3 days ago. It says today Google announced they have released the source code to Pebble OS. This is massive for Rebel and will accelerate our efforts to produce new hardware. So now, okay, so we got Rebel talking about that they're willing to make new hardware, new Pebble watches and everything, which I honestly feel like that. I think Rebel, the company Rebel, I think is just former Pebble engineers and, you know, employees that, you know, decided to maintain the Pebble smartwatch. Because Fitbit only bought the intellectual property and the engineering of the software of Pebble. They didn't actually migrate any of the employees over. If you guys remember that, you guys could check out my video talking about Pebble shutting down. There's like, you'll find them in like 2017 is when I talked about them. So you can go through those videos and find them. But anyways, it says, previously we have been working on our own replacement firmware, Rebel OS. As you can see by the commitment history, though, progress was slow. Building a production-ready real-time OS for the Pebble is no small feat. And although we were confident we'd get there, given enough time, it was never our ideal path. Thanks to the hard work of many, both within Google and not, we finally have our hands on the original source code for the Pebble OS. You can read Google's blog post on this for even more information. This does not mean we instantly have the ability to start developing updates for the Pebble OS, though. We first will need to spend some concentrated time getting it to build. But before we talk about that, let's talk about Rebel itself. And they go on to talk about, their community, hackathon, old dog, new tricks. They have that. But now they have the source code files. Let's see. The person who actually went to Google and asked them to open source Pebble OS was Eric Mijakovsky. If I butchered his last name, I apologize. And I believe, he's a creator of Pebble. That's who Eric is. And that's who went to Google to get them to open up that sucker. So, yeah, we are heading towards times of where we could possibly see in the next 4 years a full-on resurrection of the Pebble smartwatch if they decide to actually build new hardware. And I think now that Eric is much older, he'll be a little bit more wiser when it comes to what he does with funding for the Pebble watch. So, that's what we got right now for Pebble Watch as the main story of today's live stream. I really don't have a lot of time to stay live and do a whole hour. So I'm just going to kind of fast track these next parts here. So I do apologize if it's not that hour long show that you guys are kind of used to. But so anyways, on other notice, Mobile X now adds auto top up feature to their personalized access users on Mobile X service. So before, if you were on personalized access and you say you had limited data, like maybe you only really need 3 gigabytes a month, but this month has been a little bit different for you and you've been using more data than usual, you would have to go into the app and top up manually. Now they have it to where you can turn on auto top up. And so I haven't played around with that feature, haven't installed the app yet. It should be available today in the Play Store and in the Apple App Store. And so you would just go through the setup process, but I think people need to understand something. Auto top up doesn't mean that they're just going to feed you data and you're going to be like good to go. You will be charged for the data that it gives you. Okay. So if it auto tops up 2 gigabytes of data, well, then your payment method is going to be hit with a charge for the amount of 2 gigabytes of data, which would be $4.20. It's $2.10 per gig on Mobile X. I don't know if this connects with their promo where they're doubling your data. So if you pay $2.10 for a gig of data, they will match it with the gig of data. So you're actually paying for 2 gigs of data for $2.10. I don't know if that applies with the auto top up. But you do need to keep that in mind, is that if you're going to allow auto top up on Mobile X, know that your payment method is going to be charged. You will have to pay that fee auto top upping. And the reason why that they put this in place, because some people just don't want to keep going into the Mobile X app and manually topping up, which I don't understand that really, because you're opening an app and you're just going in and hitting top up and then choosing the amount of data that you want and then hitting confirm, and then it charges your card. The fact is that people want this in place where they can just keep using data and, they burned the last of their high-speed data. So it's just going to auto charge your payment method and give you another gig of data or another 2 gigs of data, whatever you set the parameters to be. I mean, what if you're not paying attention to your data usage? Because that's where you would pay attention to your data usage, is in the Mobile X app. So I think that this works kind of against Mobile X, because you want your customers in checking on their usage. You want them to look at the data wheel that's on the homepage of the app. You want them to look at their trending usage or usage habits. You want them to even check out the store and buy merch. Like, their hats are pretty dope. I still never got the Mobile X Boost Mobile hat that I was told I was gonna get. I keep mentioning that, but I'm not gonna hound out Peter Adderton and be like, hey man, you forgot to send me that hat you promised. Like, whatever, it's just a hat, no big deal. But it would have been cool to have. It would have been cool to have to add to my collection. Anyhow, I think but there's really cool merch that you can get in their app store. So yeah, it's kind of it's just, I don't know. But I mean, it's there. If people want to use auto top up, they now have it. So if you're someone that's like, no, I would rather have auto top up on, then auto top up you shall have. So moving on from that, Helium Plus. I made a video yesterday. It's about 16 minutes long. I know it's a pretty long video, and it just outlines what Helium Plus is. You know, in a very short nutshell, what Helium Plus is, it's basically meant for business Wi-Fi connection. So those places like stadiums and convention centers, you know, places of business that have their, you know, their internet network built out, like even like call centers, you know, call centers have, you know, internet and, you know, within the facility. And what they're wanting to do is to collaborate with these businesses with no need to buy additional hardware. They just tap into your already built out internet, you know, infrastructure in your building or in your place of business or place of residence or any of that. And literally, that signal would be dispersed for Helium mobile customers that are, you know, phone service customers. When they walk into that establishment, they will automatically connect to that open channel for connection, allowing them to offload data usage onto that internet service rather than T-Mobile's network. And again, this is all in their plot to build out a decentralized network, right? So it's going to consist of, you know, those people that have the indoor and outdoor hotspots with Helium. You know, it's going to be their equipment that Helium customers connect to the data offload. It's going to be those that are using the Dawn Internet, who is Helium's partner. Those guys and gals who deploy their hardware for internet connections. You know, you'll be connecting to them to offload data use off T-Mobile's network. And then now the Helium Plus, which is any business, any stadium, any convention center, any place that has, you know, internet Wi-Fi built out, whether they use whatever brand of, you know, internet service provider that they use. And it doesn't require additional hardware. You don't have to install any type of component to the building in order to disperse that signal. You would just basically upgrade your Wi-Fi systems certificates, installing Helium's. That would get you to go forward. Helium Mobile now is rewarding you with HNT. Yes, like everything was going to move back to the Helium token. They're moving away from mobile rewards. So really right now, when it comes down to, like, for me, how I track, you know, their progress and things of, like, I use a Coin Market Cap. I use that app to watch the growth of it. I'm more primarily focused on HNT and Helium Network than I am on, you know, mobile rewards, IoT. They are really just kind of pushing everything back over to HNT. So now, if you have a business and your place of business has already built out, you know, Wi-Fi network inside of it for internet, for your employees, for your IoTs in your place of business, and you decide to link up with Helium Plus, you do earn money for allowing Helium mobile service customers to connect to your Wi-Fi internet for their data. And it's secure and it's not going to mess with your other IoTs. So it's not, you know, an internet channel that has all your employees' PCs connected to it and printers connected to it. Helium customers will not be on that channel. That will always remain separate. All that this does, the certificate that you install and upgrade your Wi-Fi system, all of it does is it creates a separate channel for Helium phone customers only, and it allows only them to connect to it with the certificates that's installed on their phones, right? So that, you know, only Helium customers are the ones that can connect. Doesn't allow them to wall crawl through all your IoTs in your business and, you know, become a security threat. That's not something that Helium wants to shoulder, much less want to get sued on, because that could cripple the company. Because Helium is making such great growth, and all the business adventures that they're coming up with, all the companies that they are, you know, tag teaming with. What up, Georgia, San Joaquin Valley? All these companies that Helium is connecting to is in good faith growing the company out. So yes, Helium Plus is not phone service. It's not a free phone plan. It literally is a partnership for businesses to get on board. And like I said, they can make money. So they can either earn crypto for allowing Helium phone service customers to connect, or they can be paid out in US dollars instead of having to, get crypto and convert to US dollars. They can get paid out in US dollars. So they have on their website, if you go to helium.com/plus, you'll see the sign up application. If you have a business, a little mini mart, a little store, maybe a bakery, something like that, something to that effect, you can actually get on board with this and create additional passive income for your business and make money that way. Or you can go the traditional route and get you a Helium outdoor hotspot or indoor hotspot, and you can earn crypto that way. Whichever way you choose to do. But this is a way to earn passive income. You guys check out B Tech Reviews channel. He got an indoor hotspot, and he's been, posting his earnings every other day. So you guys can see, and his is a less busy area. If the area that, say, like your business shop is in, happens to be an area where Helium is going to boost the rewards that it earns. Boosted rewards, big benefit. There is a guy on X, his name is Pepe, and Pepe is building out a bunch of outdoor hotspots. This dude is really on he's on another level. And I've been following him, and I've been watching his installations, and he's just posting daily, and it's he'll tell you this is day 36 of installing Helium hotspot till I reach 1 million subscribers. And the million subscribers, honestly, no, that's not his true goal. His true goal is to have a lot of areas in Mexico covered with the Helium outdoor hotspot that he is going to be banking on. With that many hotspots deployed, him earning in that passive income from crypto rewards and then converting it to whatever he wants to. He can move it to his personal crypto wallet, and then he can exchange it for Ethereum or for Bitcoin or for Doge, Dark Coins, or whatever other crypto coin that he wants to. These things are transferable, and you can transfer to a different wallet. You can convert them to a different crypto. It's entirely up to you. If you follow the pricing of each coin, and then you can see the value. Of course, Bitcoin being the highest value currently right now, I still believe it sits over $100,000 per coin, followed by Ethereum. I think Ethereum is still $3,000 for one Ethereum coin, and then it gets lower in pricing. And yeah, you guys can look all that on a coin market cap, I believe it's called. I don't know. Let's do a quick check. All right. All right, let's see where we're at. So Helium HNT actually is going up. Looks like we are 83% bullish, but it's at $4.32 currently right now for HNT. That's what it's currently sitting at right now. Let's go to rankings real quick. Okay, so of course, Bitcoin's sitting at number 1. They're in first place when it comes to their value. Their value is at $105,778.10. That's for one Bitcoin. Okay, Ethereum following behind that at $3,261.78. They went down 18% in the last hour, but they are up by 5.41% in the last 24 hours, down by 0.23% in the last 7 days. Their market cap is, it looks like Jesus Christ. It looks like 2 trillion. I know those are commas, so it looks like 2 trillion is their market cap. Anyways, let's see. Solana, the Solana coin is currently sitting at $241.36. It went down 0.6% in the last hour, but it is up at 5.14% in the last 24 hours. Well, Solana coin's another one that I follow, and let's see. I believe HNT is at 100. It's at the 100th position, or it's past the 100th position. The 100th position. We're at 110. Helium is now at 112th place. It is valued at $4.30 a coin. It's went up 15% in the last 24 hours, but it is down 2% in the last hour. And I don't even know where mobile rewards sits at. The Helium mobile reward, where are you? Let me go back up and see if I can just find my watch list. Where is my watch list? There we go. Mobile reward sitting at 525th place. Wow. In the last hour, it's dropped 2.32%. It is currently valued cash wise. It is valued at 0.0008153. So yeah, that's its value. And then IoT is sitting at the 1080th place. IoT has dropped quite a bit. It hasn't really come back. But yeah, that's where they all sit at right now. I knew I was right. AT&T, T-Mobile, fixed wireless access does not have enough bandwidth on all the cell towers to add home users to the workload of a cell phone user. Yeah, what made you think that they had every tower perfectly set? Like, I mean, that you didn't have to do any research on, honestly. Because if you still have to plug in your address to make sure that you know the fixed wireless access from any of those companies are available in your area, obviously should lead to the fact that there's not every cell tower has been upgraded to handle the data load and capacity that your home internet. Like when I move here in a couple of months, I'm probably gonna have to give up T-Mobile home internet because where I'm going to, it's not available. They can put me on what they call the home internet light plan, which I think is like 200 gigs of data. But how much live streaming I do and how much video uploads I do, I'll surpass 200 gigs easily alongside, my kids live, like home, like video streaming from like HBO Max and Netflix. So it's just, I would end up just shutting it down. And then, where I'm moving to, seeing what kind of internet service provider they have out there and having to go with something that can handle my workload, honestly. Like my honest workload, that's where it's going to be at. So anyhow, that's pretty much it. We made it close to an hour, but I do got to get going. I got a couple things I need to get done. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts, or anything like that, you guys definitely drop them in the comments for the playback crew or replay crew. Again, if you guys want to try out Helium Mobile, you guys definitely can do so. Take advantage. Use the QR code to get to the sign up page. Use my promo code in the description to get your first month for free. And again, shout out to Helium Mobile as a sponsor of this live stream and this channel. And if you guys want to copy a Team Nexus, Team Pixel shirt, do so. Wear it with pride. Represent for Team Nexus if you've always rocked with Nexus devices. And if you're a Team Pixel fan, you definitely can show that off here. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Take it easy, you guys. Peace.